Hello, and I'm back. Now doing the Warden build, which is comprises of the hunting and defense masteries. First of all, before I begin, I want to say that I've been getting requests to do the builds on some classes which I haven't got characters of. Those include like Druid and Conjurer. So if you really want me to make those, I can make them, but I can't promise that they will be entirely accurate. So that's that. If you have any other requests for such classes that I haven't done yet and possibly don't have the characters of, then feel free to ask. And also I've been suggested to do some videos based on the side quest of titancalc, so I thought that was a good idea. I might do that as well. Alright, let's begin then. The Warden. We'll start with the defense mastery skills. First of all, the skills on the right hand side here, they're the must. The top three you see are the passive shield skills, which you need because they basically have a chance to proc, so they're very good. Make your attack power much stronger because you hit with a shield. Also, although if you didn't know, it actually counts as a hit with a shield and a weapon at the same time. The skill just below that, at the very bottom, that's armor handling, and that's useful for lowering the strength requirement for the armor, so that's really useful, and it also makes your armor more efficient at absorbing damage. These are two offensive skills, Bat and Shield Charge. I go for those, for both of them with every single defender class I make, but you don't have to get them both. In fact, if you had to choose one, Shield Charge would probably be a better one, because it's more powerful and it also allows you to rush forward. So that's a good one, and its synergy disruption is good as well. The Bat skill is quite nice as well. I usually stick it on the left mouse button because Warden doesn't have any left mouse button skills. And remember, it's a rend armor just 1 point. You don't need to max that. These three trees on the left, they're the more defensive trees. I'd advise you to get at least one of them, preferably two if you can. These are Adrenaline, Rally, and Battle Awareness. I usually get Adrenaline and Battle Awareness. I usually ignore Rally because it's only temporary. But I mean, I've heard other people say it's a really good tree. These are two nice defensive skills as well. The one at the bottom there is Quick Recovery. It makes you, it's a temporary buff, but it increases your shield blocking, and also it's really good. I'll put at least 1 point in it early on, and you can max it later on in the game. And the one at the top, that's Colossus form. I usually only stick 1 point in it because with 1 point it gives you huge bonuses, but with further points it only makes a very minor increase. So I wouldn't waste any further points on that unless you have spare. And finally, the one at the bottom is Concussive Blow. It basically gives you stun, but providing if you use clubs. And as a Warden, you're most likely to be using spears because hunting really favors spears. So I would suggest you not to get Concussive Blow. Now the hunting mastery. These are the two really important buffs. The one at the very bottom right, that's Woodlaw. It's one of the most important skills in the hunting mastery. It increases your attack speed and also defensive ability. So that'll be one of the first skills I'd get. The tree, as you see, like next to it, that's Art of the Hunt, another useful buff. I'd max it as well, except for the very top skill. For that one, I would only put 1 point because 1 point gives you 100% reduced entrapment duration. So whenever someone tries to put you like in a net, you instantly come out of it. Any further points in it would just increase your movement speed, which is, I don't think it's that useful. Call of the Hunt on the left, it's quite a nice timed buff as well. Though I won't really prioritize it. And the one on the right, that's Herbal Remedy. It's a very useful skill because it gives you quite a substantial poison resistance for quite a good amount of time. So making all these boss fights, which rely on poison, much easier. Boss fights such as Kerberos and Hydra, for example. These are the offensive skills. See at the bottom there, that's Takedown. It's another rushing skill. I usually quite like, with the Warden character, you have Shield Charge and Takedown. Two nice rushing skills, which makes gameplay really fun. And Takedown isn't bad. It's quite good. Gives a good health reduction to the enemies. I would forget about the synergy though, Eviscerate, because it's not very powerful. The two at the top, you see, they're the proc skills, just like you have with the shield procs. These are the spear procs, sort of. Gouge isn't useful because its bleeding damage is very weak, but Volley on the other hand is very good. so I would suggest you to get that because it makes you attack 3 times like really fast. Study Prey is a very good debuff on the enemies because it reduces their physical and piercing resistance, making the piercing damage which you deal much more powerful. The synergy, it reduces the enemy elemental resistance, so you might want to think about whether getting that or not, because if you aren't dealing any elemental damage, that probably won't be any use. These are the trees I would completely forget for this class. The one on the bottom left, that's Ensnare. I only ever find it useful in Act 1 normal. After that it becomes really weak. The Marksmanship Tree, it's only good for if you're an archer, and you're unlikely to be an archer for the Warden. However, you might consider having bow as a secondary weapon. However, the Marksmanship Tree would eat up quite a lot of skill points, so you have to be prepared for that. And the one on the right, that's Monster Lure. I never really found that useful. I mean, you might find it useful for like hybrids and archers, but for the Warden character I don't think you need it, because Warden can really stand his or her ground. Oh, and I would mention that if you deciding which mastery to start with, I would highly advise to start with the hunting mastery, because starting with defense is really slow usually. Now we'll move on to the attribute points. Usually you go for strength and dexterity, forget about intelligence. Strength and dexterity, strength probably a little bit more, because even though you deal piercing damage with spears mostly, which dexterity favors, you still need to increase your strength, which increases your general physical damage, so you need strength. The only problem I ever run into with the Warden character is that you tend to run out of energy really fast because you're using a lot of active skills, you know. So I would advise you to put a few points in the energy. As you can see, I put here, see my energy is 780, because I actually had to put it otherwise. You also get quite a lot of energy reserve skills. Yeah, we'll go to secondary skills. Yeah, just remember offensive and defensive ability, very important, and of course your stun and vitality resistances. And that's about it. That's the Warden class. Yeah, so once again, just think about those other class builds. If you want me to make those which I don't have characters of, I can make them, or you can just ask me on a personal message. I can give you tips by that. And yeah, that's it really. Bye for now.